bundle. All right, so my first card, I actually have a link to this how-to video. I demonstrated this earlier in the day. I talked about the online holiday boutique. I demonstrated it over at the boutique. I've done a quick video, so I will put the link on how to create this project. It is part of our class. It's a very clean and simple card. Santa Claus is coming to town. Merry Christmas. So really fun. I love the bright colors in this suite. For those of you who have a Stampin' Up! Mini catalog, this is the suite I'm talking about. It is the Santa Express suite. Specifically, I am going to be using the bundle and the paper and a couple of other things. If you're interested in the class and you would like the projects, place a $35 order. I will send them direct to you, all cut, scored, prepped, and ready for you to craft. Well, tonight's project is this super cute card. Again, Santa Claus is coming to town. It's a little bit stepped up from the previous card. So this is a quick and simple card. This one's a little bit stepped up. We've got a couple of techniques going on and a little bit more embellishment. We're still using that cute Santa Express Designer Series paper. My card base is Poppy Parade. So it's a usual card size, and I'm just gonna fold it right in half. It's scored at 4 1/4. And then I am going to bring in a piece of basic white, which has been texturized. So I am using the Stripe and Splatter embossing folder. It is one of the folders that the mini will accommodate, and mine is actually a little bit wider. You're gonna see down at the bottom here, there's a smooth area because I made the paper just a little bit wider than the folder. I have texturized it. I ran it through the mini, and I get that splatter effect, which to me looks kind of like a little snowy storm. So that's gonna be one of my layers, and this is gonna be layered directly onto my card base with my favorite adhesive. Always using my favorite adhesive. It goes a long way. So this is the Tombow multi-purpose glue. It works perfectly with embossed papers. Sometimes the seal is a little bit tricky to maneuver on paper that has been embossed. This one is very simple, or this multi-purpose glue goes on quite easily. So my paper is just a little bit narrower than my card. I can see I am going to have to trim up my paper. So I'm going to use one of my tools, my paper snips. So I have, and I'm going to bring in my bone folder, which I believe I had here on my tabletop. Flip that over. I like to burnish from the back. That way, if I do make any indentations in the paper, it doesn't show on the front side. And here's what I'm talking about. I have a little tiny smidge that I need to trim off. So I just take my paper snips, and Stampin' Up's paper snips are the best, nice and sharp. That short blade is easy to maneuver. And then I'm gonna add a very tiny strip of some of the Designer Series paper. Love these shooting stars. It is the flip side of one of the very cool patterns that I used on the first card, the simple card. So it's the flip side of the scene with the mountains and the Christmas trees and the presents. And I'm just gonna bring this in at the bottom of my card. I'm gonna leave about 1/8 of an inch border at the bottom. There we go. And again, I will burnish. And again, I can see I have that tiny smidge to trim off. All right, there we go. Now I have pre-cut the train tracks from the coordinating dies. So this is the Santa's Delivery stamp set. Has very cute images and great greetings. And the coordinating dies will die cut some of the items on the Designer Series paper. And there's also extra dies, as in the train tracks, that we can create some extra elements for the card. So I have die cut that little railroad track, and I did mine in smoky slate. I'm going to add that also with my favorite. Very easy. I'm just going to get in these wider areas right there. So how are the Christmas cards going? You still have time. We're not even to December 1st yet, so you still have time to make your handmade Christmas cards. I know I'm still working on mine, and I'm going to put the train tracks right down. Oops, I got a little bit of adhesive down there. I'm going to put the train tracks on at a slight angle. Very simple. And it's coming along very easily. I am taking one of these Santas in the train, and I have die cut that with the coordinating die. So Carol says, what is that you're using to burnish with? Carol, that's my handy dandy bone folder, one of my essential tools. It is a multi-purpose tool, and I use it's constantly on my desktop. Called a bone folder, and I think it's like $7. It is the best value. It makes those nice creases, makes your projects look very professional. It will score, it will burnish, and it's helpful for adhering when you're in those tall, tight places. It's a must-have, and I have several. I have one you will see with my Just Stamp logo. I also have one with my team logo, the Stamperistas. So, as I said, I have these on my desktop always. Now I'm putting down my Santa train. You can see I added some of the standard dimensionals. So I wanted to give it lots of support. This is going to go at the front of the tracks here at an angle. And there we go. And then I also die cut, and this comes from the designer series paper as well, a different sheet. One of the cards that has that cute little reindeer and those presents in it. This also is going on with dimensionals. And look at that, I actually have a new sheet of dimensionals. Typically I am working with the outer borders of the sheets because I make use of every last bit. Today I actually got a new sheet of dimensionals, and it's kind of cool. Anyway, and this is just gonna go, I do leave a little bit of a break in here, so I'm gonna kind of bring it at an angle again. It doesn't quite match up with the height, and that's exactly what I want, so I want that connection going on there. And it goes almost to the edge of the track. So next thing I need to do is stamp my greeting, which is going to be Santa Claus is coming to town. And I'm just using tuxedo black. Like so, on a little scrap of basic white. And I do want to leave a little bit extra. I'm going to have a little bit of a border on the right and left. So there we go. So here's something else I'll share with you. I talked about my bone folder with my team logo. We also have, I don't know if you can see it, I have my name on my acrylic block, and again, the Stamperista logo. Both of these things happen to be team gifts one different years. So one year it was bone folders, another year it was the block. And I'm pretty excited because this year's gift arrived today actually. So pretty fun to see the items coming in for the team time meeting, which is on December 10th. We have a little bit of a celebration with our team, and we get to swap gifts, and it's a whole lot of fun. My team is probably one of the best things I enjoy about Stampin' Up. I absolutely love getting together with the women on the team and crafting. Everyone has a great story, a great skill, and it's a lot of sharing, which is part of the stamping experience. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, which happens to be another essential tool, and I'm going to trim this down to about 5/8 of an inch. So I'm just going to put it on the track, and I'm sorry about this. I'm working at the bottom of the track, and there we go. There we are. I just trimmed that up a tiny, tiny bit. And this is going to go on my card, again with dimensionals, one on each side. So I talked about the techniques we're using on the card. One was the embossing, another was the die cutting. This little label, Santa Claus is coming to town, I'm going to put it right here towards the bottom of my card. And one last thing, I'm going to add, see the little puffs of steam that come out of the train. I'm going to go ahead and add these. And again, I'm going to add them with some dimensionals. And I wish, let's see, maybe I do have, I pre-stamped them and pre-cut them. Let's see if I have some mini dimensionals here I could use. And give me a sec. These little steam balls are so tiny, I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. And I could glue them on flat, but they look so sweet when they're popped up with dimensionals. I'm going to add those. And one is going to go right at the tip of that train part. Don't know what that's called. Maybe you can help me out. What do we call this right here on the train? I don't know my train parts. Okay, and then I'm going to add a second puff of steam to follow, again at the top there. And we're almost done. This is the front side of the card. Santa Claus is coming to town, but we are on colored cardstock, and I like to insert, thank you, Debbie and Carol. It's the smokestack. Thank you. All right. Oh, I'm so glad I have helpers here. All right, so my insert is going to be in basic white, and I am going to stamp it with a greeting. I'm going to stamp it with Merry Christmas. And it goes right here in the center, still basic black. And by the way, I'm using my most used block, which is D, right like so. And let's see, I am going to see, how about if I add that little Christmas tree again? You might have seen me use it earlier in the day. I love that tree. It can be horizontal on the train, or it can be vertical on the edge of the card, kind of like it's peeking in from the surrounding area. And I'm just going to come in and stamp right here on the edge. I'm going to have lots of space to write my Christmas greeting or Christmas note, because I know a lot of the cards that go out to my favorite peeps might be my annual cards. So I want to make sure that I write a short note, let everybody know how we're doing, maybe share some happy news. This goes flat adhered right into the inside of the card. There we go. And goes flat, and I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border. Very simple. There we go. There's our second card. And again, I'm going to burnish that down. Right, Carol, with my bone folder. Flip it over, maybe do another little burnish on the fold. And there you go. Santa Claus is coming to town. It's got the embossing texture in the background, and then I've die cut those train parts from the designer series paper. Very cute paper. I love this little bundle. Very sweet. Now, my third card I'm going to share with you is a specialty card. This is a card in a box. I'm going to move these aside for just a second. And what's special about this card is, look, it's a 3D card, so it's a box card. And you can fold these down. And we've got our layers with our Santa, our train cars, and you can kind of see some trees in the background, and our message. And what's cool about this is it actually folds flat, and it fits in a standard size envelope, so it can be mailed. What's awesome is the recipient will then receive it. They can fill that out, and it will stand on the mantle, on the desktop. It looks super cute. Now this box of cards, card in a box, is the Fun Fold tutorial template this month. And it's free when you place an online order with me. It's also free to my team members. So if you decide that you want to place your order, you will get the class kit to make 2 of each of these projects, including the card in a box. Everything will be pre-cut, pre-scored, and ready for you to assemble. I cannot send you stamped images, so while you will get all of this, the trains and the cars, the only thing that will not be included are the greetings and then a couple of the little images, that are stamped in the cards. So you could use a greeting of your own if you don't want to pick up the Santa delivery bundle. You could easily still recreate these cards. Oh, by the way, the back of this card is where the greeting is. So there's where you would write your note and your annual note, I should say, to the recipient. So there is the Santa delivery card class of the week. I believe the shopping list is linked right above this video, and there is also a shopping code. Hello, Debbie. Thank you. I think that the Santa's Delivery suite is super cute on its own. I love the bright colors and the bright red, and the Santa is just so festive. So many cute elements on the paper. So hopefully you'll give the Santa's Express suite a look. If you enjoyed this step-by-step crafting, make sure you skip over to the YouTube channel, which is Just Stamp with Anna Marie. So if you missed any of the video, or if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe over there. And if you think you're ready to craft, click on the link above to check out today's supplies. Thank you so much for joining me. I think I'm going to be back on a regular schedule next Thursday for happy hour class. See you then. Have a wonderful cyber weekend.